Lenny Kravitz has always been known for his laid-back rock star vibes and heartfelt dedication to family. He and Lisa Bonet were a striking couple during the late 1980s and early 90s, and even after they parted ways romantically, they cultivated a unique friendship that turned heads in Hollywood. But recently, Lenny has stepped forward to break his usual silence about Lisa's second marriage and ultimate split from Jason Momoa. As he reveals details both shocking and eye-opening, he's exposing a side of their relationship that fans never got to see on the red carpet or in carefully curated Instagram posts. Whether you're a diehard supporter of this once-perfect blended family or a casual observer who's heard the buzz, you'll want to stick around to hear how Lenny's perspective could change everything you thought you knew about Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa's divorce. It's one thing to watch headlines swirl around a high-profile breakup, but it's an entirely different experience to hear it from someone who was once married to the same woman, who has a daughter with her, and who remained so close to their family that people referred to them as the coolest modern family in Hollywood. From vacations in tropical locales to cozy snapshots at home, fans marveled at how Lisa, Lenny, and Jason managed a bond that seemed devoid of jealousy or tension. Lenny would praise Jason as his brother, and Jason would speak just as warmly about Lenny. On Instagram, they were all about love, positivity, and supporting one another's careers and personal endeavors. But in truth, real life is often more complex than what social media portrays, and Lenny's revelations are peeling back layers of this once idyllic portrait. The seeds of Lisa and Lenny's relationship go all the way back to the mid-1980s, when they met at a New Edition concert and instantly felt a connection. Lisa was already a cultural icon, thanks to her role on The Cosby Show as Denise Huxtable, the effortless bohemian daughter with a knack for marching to her own drum. Lenny was still on the cusp of launching his rock career, searching for a sound that blended funk, rock, soul, and a bit of rebellious edge. They connected over their shared love of music, artistic expression, and the sense that they were both outsiders to typical Hollywood norms. Their romance was swift, intense, and carried an air of destiny, as though these two free spirits couldn't exist apart for long. By 1988, they had welcomed their daughter, Zoe Kravitz, who would one day become a star in her own right. Their marriage was short-lived, ending in 1993, but the bond they forged never truly broke. Even as they parted ways, Lisa and Lenny managed to retain mutual respect and concern for each other's well-being, an arrangement that set the tone for the next few decades. Fast forward to the early 2000s, when Lisa met Jason Momoa at a Los Angeles jazz club. He was younger than Lisa, brimming with energy and ambition, yet carrying a quiet intensity that reminded people of how Lenny had also seemed larger than life. Jason, famously, had been smitten with Lisa since his childhood days watching her on TV. Meeting her in person was like stepping into a dream he once believed impossible. Before long, they were inseparable. They started a family, and eventually, after more than a decade together, sealed their commitment in a 2017 wedding. The public perception? Lisa had found a partner who cherished her fiercely, and even more mind-blowing was how well Lenny seemed to mesh with Jason. The three of them, joined by Zoe, and later Jason and Lisa's children Lola and Nako Wolf, looked like the ultimate modern family. In interviews, Lenny often played the role of the supportive ex, praising Lisa's individuality and expressing genuine admiration for Jason. Meanwhile, Jason publicly referred to Lenny as Ohana, or family, referencing his Hawaiian roots. Fans couldn't help but gush. Look at them, no drama, no rivalry, pure love. That became the narrative that tabloids happily fed on. Lisa's ex and current husband forging this remarkable friendship while Zoe beamed at red carpet events, proud to have three parents who seemed to get along better than most nuclear families. Behind the scenes, though, subtle tensions lingered, tensions that only someone with deep, long-standing ties to Lisa could sense. And that's precisely where Lenny steps in with these new revelations. According to individuals close to Lenny, the rock legend began noticing cracks in Lisa and Jason's relationship a few years before the public caught wind of any issues. At first, these cracks were hairline fractures, easy to overlook in the glow of family vacations and star-studded premieres. But Lenny allegedly recalls Jason becoming more distant, focusing intensely on the next role or audition, while Lisa retreated further into her quiet, almost hermit-like routine, dabbling in creative writing, painting, and spiritual practices that she'd always found grounding. Whenever Lenny touched base with Lisa, perhaps about Zoe, or about one of Lenny's new music projects, he'd detect a slight shift in her tone. She would still speak fondly of Jason, but there was a weariness, too, an echo of the kind of frustration you get when you feel a partner isn't listening or is absent in more ways than one. Now, if you listen to Jason talk in interviews, it seemed clear that he never intended to neglect Lisa. He practically worshipped her, speaking about her like a muse who had redefined his life. But rapid success in Hollywood can be a double-edged sword. It offers fame, wealth, a chance to travel, and the adrenaline rush of blockbuster sets. Yet it can also devour time that could otherwise be spent nurturing relationships. Lenny has allegedly revealed that Lisa confided in him during these quieter moments of doubt, admitting she felt overshadowed and isolated. Where once they'd been a bohemian pair fully in sync, now Jason was drifting off to faraway filming locations, leaving Lisa behind to raise their 2 children and navigate day-to-day life without the partner she expected to share it with. What truly stung, from Lenny's vantage point, was that Lisa didn't seem comfortable addressing these issues openly with Jason. Whether it was fear of conflict, concern that he was too busy, or a desire to avoid bursting his bubble of excitement, she kept much of her discontent locked away, only occasionally hinting at it in casual phone calls or messages to Lenny. This revelation alone shifts our entire view of their so-called perfect marriage. The question arises, was Lisa repeating old patterns from her previous relationships, or was it simply the push and pull dynamic we often see when one partner's career skyrockets while the other craves stability and togetherness? On top of that, there were rumors, some well-documented, some more speculative, about on-set flirtations involving Jason. Tabloids would occasionally run stories linking him to one co-star or another, rarely offering substantial proof. Most fans dismissed these as just another wave of gossip targeting a Hollywood heartthrob. But Lenny supposedly confided that Lisa was more bothered by these rumors than she let on publicly. It wasn't that she outright believed he was cheating, but rather that each rumor chipped away at her sense of trust and security. Lenny himself, having been under the magnifying glass of the music industry for decades, could relate. He'd endured countless headlines tying him to various celebrities, some of which were total fabrications. Yet the difference, he would say, was that Lisa had never expressed doubt in their relationship during that era. The fact that she was now worried, even if only in fleeting moments, suggested deeper roots of uncertainty. So how does Lenny fit into all of this in a way that truly changed the trajectory of Lisa and Jason's marriage? He occupied a delicate position, intimate enough with Lisa to see the cracks forming, but also friendly with Jason, not wanting to betray the trust they developed. Publicly, Lenny always championed the harmonious narrative, posting birthday tributes to Jason or praising him for being a wonderful stepdad to Zoe and father to Lola and Nakoa Wolf. Privately, though, Lenny found himself offering Lisa counsel, telling her to speak her truth, to confront Jason before the resentment blossomed into something irreparable. If Lisa was truly lonely, if she felt Jason's attention was wandering, Lenny's advice was to address it head-on. Something that Lisa, who often prefers a gentler approach, hesitated to do. Over time, Lenny began to see signs that a confrontation was inevitable. Lisa's frustration mounted, but she stayed silent. Jason, possibly sensing the distance but unsure of its full scope, found solace in his work. The more Lisa held back, the more power those unspoken feelings gained, until, at a certain point, the tension was uncontainable. Lenny's shocking revelation, as some sources describe it, revolves around the notion that Lisa and Jason's carefully curated image as a bohemian dream couple wasn't just an ideal they shared. It was also a shield. Their public persona shielded them from addressing raw emotional challenges. When you're adored as the epitome of relationship goals, stepping forward to say, "We're struggling," can feel like an admission that not only disappoints fans, but also disrupts your entire sense of identity. Now, it's important to note that Lenny doesn't blame either Lisa or Jason. In these private accounts, he empathizes with both. He knows the punishing schedule of an internationally famous entertainer, But he also knows the longing that grows when your partner isn't fully present for major family milestones. Lenny told insiders that he often felt like an observer to a movie that was playing out in slow motion. He could see the heartbreak building, recognize the plot twists as they came, but couldn't step in to rewrite the ending because it wasn't his story to tell. It was Lisa's and Jason's marriage, after all, and no matter how close Lenny was, he understood the boundary between ex-husband and friend. According to this rumored confession, Lenny was among the first to learn that divorce was a real possibility. Weeks before Lisa and Jason officially announced their split in early 2022, Lisa apparently confided in Lenny about her fears that their relationship had become unsalvageable. She worried that if she turned a blind eye, she'd live a life overshadowed by regret, always wondering if she'd lost herself in Jason's pursuit of stardom. Lenny, though startled, offered steady support, urging her to put her emotional well-being first, reminding her that she'd always championed authenticity and self-discovery. If continuing in the marriage demanded that she bury her feelings, that was no better than being silent in the face of slow, creeping discontent. When Lisa and Jason's joint statement dropped, referencing transformational times and the seismic shifts in their family, the public was stunned. But for Lenny, it was just the next chapter in a story he'd seen unfolding for months, if not years. He watched as media outlets speculated about a million possible causes: Jason's rumored love interests, money problems, or even a midlife crisis. The official line was that the split was amicable, that they still had love for each other and for their children, and that this was simply part of evolving as individuals. Yet behind closed doors, Lenny was hearing Lisa's tears, her late-night calls, the confusion that can arise when love hasn't necessarily vanished but resentment and emotional distance have grown too large to ignore. He also heard about Jason's heartbreak, his refusal to accept blame for ignoring Lisa, his perspective that he was simply working tirelessly for the sake of the family's future. In the weeks following the announcement, fans expected to see public drama or messy custody battles, but that never materialized. Both Lisa and Jason seemed more focused on co-parenting and shielding their kids from tabloid chaos. Lenny's revelations, however, suggest that tension simmered beneath the surface. For all their maturity, Jason and Lisa weren't immune to anger and regret. Lenny noted that Lisa felt a sense of betrayal, not necessarily from explicit wrongdoing on Jason's part, but from the emotional absence that left her feeling lonely in what was supposed to be a partnership. Meanwhile, Jason was reportedly devastated. The man who'd always idolized Lisa now had to face that his dream marriage was crumbling. This is where Lenny's role grew even more complicated. Having been Lisa's ex-husband, he was intimately familiar with the heartbreak of separation from her. Knowing how passionate Lisa can be, but also how resolute she is when she decides a relationship isn't fulfilling her needs, Lenny stood on the sidelines, watching a painful scenario replay in a different form. He knew that once Lisa decided a chapter was over, it was generally over, unless something drastic happened to change the dynamic. By all accounts, nothing drastic did. Jason's attempts to fix the situation came too late or lacked the depth that Lisa required. Lenny's shocking realization that the world was labeling the divorce amicable, but deep inside, it was rife with emotional wounds that might never fully heal. Now, with the divorce final, Lenny has stepped forward, though quietly, some say in private circles, others say in hushed conversations with journalists, to share how the illusions of a perfect blended family can hide unresolved conflicts. He isn't speaking out of malice or a desire for the spotlight. If anything, Lenny's always evaded the typical celebrity gossip circuits. Rather, his motivation seems to be driven by the desire to set the record straight about the complexities that shaped Lisa and Jason's marriage. Complexities that so many fans have overlooked in their rush to label them as #relationship goals. By exposing these details, Lenny is reminding everyone that no relationship is flawless, no matter how magical it may appear at first glance. One angle Lenny also underscores is the toll on Zoe Kravitz, who found herself in a delicate position. She adored Jason and saw him as a father figure in many respects, praising his role in her younger siblings' lives. She also remained close to her dad, cherishing the easy rapport they'd built over years of traveling on tour, late-night jam sessions, and heart-to-heart talks. Suddenly, Zoe was watching the dissolution of a marriage she'd grown comfortable being part of. Although she was an adult with her own thriving career, the emotional pull of her family's struggles weighed on her. Lenny's revelations about Zoe's vantage point highlight that it isn't just about two adults ending their marriage. It's about an entire web of relationships, each deeply affected by that choice. What truly sets Lenny's perspective apart is that he witnessed Lisa's transformations through multiple life stages. He observed her shift from a TV star to a budding mother, from a carefree newlywed to a spiritually contemplative soul, seeking more than Hollywood could offer. He's also watched her navigate heartbreak before. In some ways, Lenny's vantage is perhaps the most comprehensive lens we have on Lisa's patterns, her capacity for immense love, and her refusal to stay in a dynamic that no longer aligns with her sense of self. So when Lenny reveals the subtleties, like how Lisa grew silent when she felt unheard, or how she second-guessed her worth when rumors about Jason's on-set connections wouldn't die, he's speaking from a place of deep familiarity, not just external observation. Meanwhile, fans remain divided. Some argue that Lenny should keep certain details private, out of respect for Lisa and Jason's confidentiality. Others appreciate that hearing the truth from someone who lived so closely alongside this family can provide closure. After all, so many people looked up to Lisa and Jason as the embodiment of an unbreakable love. Learning that this love, while real, was also fraught with challenges can be disillusioning, or it can be a reminder that no relationship is bulletproof. Feelings change, circumstances evolve, and unresolved conflicts can poison even the strongest bonds over time. Then there's the question: did Lenny's presence itself add to the strain on Lisa and Jason's marriage? In public, Jason and Lenny joked about their bromance, each praising the other's creativity and generosity. But as Lenny now discloses, the underlying reality might have been more complicated. While Jason wanted to be the supportive, modern husband who didn't mind Lisa's friendship with her ex, insecurities can still creep in, especially if Lisa turned to Lenny for emotional support or confided in him about marital troubles. Lenny, for his part, never intended to wedge himself between them, but emotional connections run deep, and old flames can sometimes blur boundaries even when romance is long gone. Lenny clarifies that his bond with Lisa is rooted in co-parenting Zoe and in a shared history that shaped them both. Whether that overshadowed Jason in certain moments is a topic open to debate. So where does the family stand now? Lisa is said to be exploring new creative outlets, living more quietly, away from the frantic demands of Hollywood. Jason has shifted his focus to philanthropic ventures and continues to star in major projects. Though he's toned down the once constant social media presence that showcased his bigger-than-life persona, Zoe is forging her own path, balancing film roles, production work, and occasional dips into music. And Lenny remains a rock icon, traveling, recording, performing, likely reflecting on how extraordinary and yet deeply human these intertwined relationships have been. The children, Lola and Nakoa Wolf, appear to be well-loved by everyone in this circle, with co-parenting as a common priority. In stepping forward with these shocking details, Lenny aims not to demonize Jason Momoa or to paint Lisa Bonet as a wounded saint. Instead, he's pulling aside the curtain on the illusions that swirl around celebrity marriages. He's reminding fans, and perhaps the couple themselves, that sometimes the relentless positivity you see on Instagram is precisely what prevents couples from grappling with their deeper issues. The heartbreak wasn't a single cataclysmic event, but a slow burn, a collection of little moments, disagreements, and missed connections that gradually eroded their foundation. What about you? Have you ever followed a celebrity couple's journey only to be stunned when they parted ways? Or have you been in a situation where everything looked perfect from the outside, but inside, frustrations and unspoken resentments piled up beyond repair? Feel free to share your experiences or opinions in the comments. The story of Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa resonates with so many because it's a reflection of real-life dilemmas. The struggle between ambition and intimacy, the challenge of blending families, the question of whether exes can remain close without sparking jealousy, and the reality that love and respect sometimes aren't enough to sustain a marriage if communication and shared values slip away. If Lenny Kravitz has shown us anything, it's that empathy can exist even when love changes shape. He refuses to villainize either Lisa or Jason, acknowledging that, in many ways, they were trying their best under tough circumstances. But he also highlights that ignoring the deeper cracks can lead to a bigger, more painful split in the end. By revealing these hidden truths, Lenny isn't trying to add drama to an already high-profile divorce. He's offering clarity. Maybe that clarity will spark conversations among fans who thought they knew the whole story. Maybe it will encourage viewers to look beyond social media snapshots and realize that every relationship, celebrity or not, carries complexities we may never fully grasp from the outside looking in. Ultimately, the perfect family narrative can be both uplifting and misleading. It warms our hearts to see a rock legend, a TV icon, and a superhero actor all laughing together, raising a loving family. But as Lenny's disclosures confirm, no matter how cool or enlightened people may seem, they're still human. They still wrestle with insecurities, time constraints, financial pressures, rumor mills, and the emotional toll of not having their partner truly present in the everyday moments that matter. For Lisa, those everyday moments were increasingly lonely, overshadowed by Jason's filming schedules and personal growth in the Hollywood sphere. Growth that, ironically, distanced him from the very life he'd once desired so deeply. It's not just about the end of a marriage, it's also about the children. Zoe, Lola, and Nakoa Wolf, who stand at the center of this swirling narrative. Lenny's own child, Zoe, grew up watching her mother navigate two significant, high-profile relationships. Perhaps, in acknowledging the cracks, Lenny hopes to spare others the disillusionment of believing any relationship is above the challenges of everyday life. Could they have salvaged things with earlier communication and more direct action? Or was the gap in their priorities, his thirst for stardom and her desire for stability, ultimately unbridgeable? For the latest news, check out this video.